It's a PC
search.
There's no reason for you to search my car.
Yes, there is, because there's probable cause to search the vehicle.
So the police are searching my backpack right now. I told them I have a gram of weed in it, but they decided to search it because he thinks it has guns or drugs.
Taking you to the corner of Newton and Waverly Street, where the incident that led to my arrest happened.
So, my first question, I'm curious to know, I personally experience my own feelings and emotions when I find myself here, often, but I want to know what kind of emotions you experience when you find yourself at this very location, where the traffic violation initially occurred.
I would say my emotions are tension, anxiety, trauma, stress, just really overall nervousness, a sense of just, not being calm, my heart starts beating, faster. So yeah, I'm just really, really kind of scared. And I always kind of anticipate, whether an incident could happen at this location again and what other feelings other people have. And how the officers felt too, I wonder.
So AJ, what influenced you to start recording your interactions with law enforcement? What incident inspired you to, just make sure that you have record of police behavior? What inspired you to start doing that?
The reason I started recording my interactions with the police is because of people like Sandra Bland and Philando Castillo. Sandra Bland and I were best friends in college. We both played trombone in the Prairie View A&M Marching Storm, which is a historically black college. And we really got to know each other there, and we really were both fighting for a lot of the same things. We both kind of grew up in primarily white neighborhoods, but moved to HBCU to experience black culture in a way that we can embrace each other and embrace unity. But unfortunately, we recognized that not everyone was like us, and we just wanted to, we stayed in contact so that we could just learn more about each other and try and keep up with, how we were doing in life and stay positive and, remember that as we both struggle, we tried to help each other. So every time I got depressed, she would kind of call me or contact me, even after college, just to let me know that, everything was okay and that, she was struggling too. But we were both really good friends. Really, she was the only person I talked to really closely after I left Prairie View A&M. Sandy started a YouTube channel after she graduated from Prairie View so that she could raise awareness about racial inequality and social injustice in America. Sandy was originally from Chicago, Illinois, also the home of Emmett Till, and she highlights the continuing history of unequal treatment towards African Americans by the United States criminal justice system.
Thank God for you, thank God for this morning, and thank God for this day.
Now, I would like for you to tell the world what happened to your friend Sandra.
My friend Sandra was involved in an incident where she was pulled over for not signaling in a left turn. After she was pulled over, she was arrested and taken to jail. And there's definitely footage on the YouTube video of, you know, the incident that happened with her and Officer Insania.
Sandra Bland's Waller County jail cell the morning she died. The video starts, and lasts just 9 minutes 29 seconds because it's motion activated. Bland is in cell 95, down the hall on the upper right. You can't see her at this angle, but at 7:17 a.m., you see an officer stop by for several seconds. Investigators say Bland told him she was fine, but less than an hour later, a female officer checks in. Watch her bend down, stand up, then turn running for help.
Tragically, I found out about Sandy's unfortunate death through a March from Storm Facebook group where before her death hit national news, I knew that she had passed away in the Waller County Jail. So friends and family had let the Marching Storm know first. It was just very unfortunate to find out that Sandy had passed away in such a racially charged and really just unnecessary, you know, escalated incident. And it really just heightened my awareness of, you know, racial tension in America and the fact that if it could happen to someone that I personally knew that I was very good friends with, it could definitely happen to me or anyone else. And so that incident definitely heightened my awareness of police interaction and caused me to start recording all of my interactions with the police on camera.
Why did the death of Sandra cause your anxiety to escalate on the night of June 22nd when you got arrested?
Because I was afraid that just like Sandra, or in the case of Philando Castillo, you know, my death could happen at any time or, you know, over a period of time, and I wouldn't even know how or why to defend myself.
I have a police officer that is about to forcibly remove me from the vehicle, or he will probably take my life.
Sir, step out of the vehicle.
See?
All right, come on. Get out of the car.
AJ, what thoughts ran through your head when you saw those lights flashing behind us?
My initial thoughts that ran through my head were that guns were going to be drawn and my life could end right there before I knew it. Where we were actually pulled over as opposed to the initial place where the traffic violation took place. So Chris, why did you choose to pull over here instead of just stopping where the officer initially flashed their lights?
My brother Casey taught me at a young age when I first got my driver's license that if I ever was to get pulled over by the police, even though they are you know, they are there for our protection, for us to protect and serve. They don't always do their job. Therefore, if you ever come into an altercation or instance with the police, to pull over in a well-lit area where there's cameras and people around so that things can be documented. And as you can see, we've got lots of heavy traffic here. We've got security cameras on the building. There's plenty of people coming in and out of the stores, so that's why I chose to pull over here. And AJ, at what point during this interaction with the police did you begin to fear for your life?
I was afraid for my life from the moment the police officer said that he wanted to search the vehicle. Anytime a search is performed without consent, I know that the police officers have the ability to abuse their power.
When I opened the door, I smelled a hint of marijuana, okay? No. Nobody's been smoking in here? Has anyone been smoking in here?
No.
No one's been smoking?
My vape. I have my vape on me right here.
Okay, well then that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, at this point, that's in the state of Maryland, that's a PC search. so we could go ahead and make sure there's nothing else in the vehicle that needs to be. Before I have you guys exit the vehicle, you guys want to be honest with me and let me know if there's anything else. Is there anything in the vehicle I need to be worried about?
And did they?
I believe that night they did. As you can see, I've also recorded another traffic stop, and the police, when they have the power to arrest someone just for having a plant, they're going to do as much as they possibly can, whether it be abusive force, whether it be grabbing someone by their hair, by their legs, using any sort of violent means possible in order to forcibly perform an arrest just because they can over a plant. Whereas when the police don't have that power, they have no need to abuse it. So that is about to forcefully remove me from the vehicle, or he will probably take my life.
Sir, step out of the vehicle.
Get out of the fucking car. Right fucking now.
Sir,
Get out of the car.
I told you forcefully. I told you forcefully. I told you forcefully.
Get off me.
I told you.
you send the supervisor our way.
I told you forcefully. I told you forcefully.
Get out of the car.
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I?
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step out or I will remove you.
I am getting removed for a failure.
Step out or I will remove you. I'm giving you a lawful order. Get out of the car now or I'm going to remove you.
And I'm calling my lawyer.
I'm going to yank you out of here.
Okay, you're going to yank me out of my car?
Get out.
Okay, all right.
25.
Let's do this.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Get out of the car.
Don't touch me. I'm not under arrest. You don't have the right to take
You
me out
are
of my
under
car.
arrest.
I'm under arrest for what?
25,
For what?
47 County FM 1098. Just
For what?
290. Send me another unit. Get out of the car.
Need another unit, FM 1098.
Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket
I
for
said
your
get
failure?
out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You
I'm
just
giving
opened
you a
my
lawful
car
order.
door. You just
I'm
opened
gonna
my car
drag you
door.
out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car.
And then you
I will
stun
light
me?
you up. I will light you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the car.
For a failure to signal. You doing all of this for
Get
a failure
over
to
there.
signal. Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off.
And do you feel like the actions of the police was a form of intimidation?
Yes, I believe so. I believe the police are always intimidated by fear. They, for some reason, were afraid of me. They had to ask for my ID.
Sir, do you have an ID on you?
Yes. They were concerned about what I had when I was just the passenger in the vehicle. I didn't respond to one of their questions, and I was afraid. I don't see no reason why the police had to be afraid of me. So I think they were trying to intimidate me.
So to compare both experiences, the one here in Salisbury, Maryland, and the one that occurred in Washington, D.C., what do you think the police officers could learn from police officers that work in states where marijuana is legal? What do you think the officers could learn here?
I think that what the police officers can learn, both incidents, is that the reformation of cannabis laws makes it easier on everyone.
So the police are searching my backpack right now. I told them I have a gram of weed in it, but they decided to search it because he thinks it has guns or drugs.
That's crazy.
I've never carried a gun in my life.
In this incident, there is a passenger in my vehicle. As you can hear her say, this is crazy. But in contrast to the incident in Salisbury, the passenger wasn't questioned, nor was her ID requested. I think that the other beneficial thing is that police can use their resources more wisely to combat, more dangerous and more heinous crimes that exist in the city, rather than having to, waste a lot of, unnecessary resources on, a plant that hasn't harmed a single human being.
Man, that was a crazy fucking night, yeah?
It really was. I mean, emotions were high, my adrenaline was running.
And it was just not knowing what was going to happen next. Like, things just escalated out of control so quickly.
Exactly.
That it was just, and I feel like what I've learned from this experience is that, it should be it should be the responsibility of the police officers to know and be trained on how to de-escalate situations, especially when it's involving someone who's just completely stressed out and, because it is a reality that black men have to live with in America is not, not knowing whether they're going to come home that night or from being shot by law enforcement, and I think that cops need to be properly trained on that reality and know how to de-escalate the situation so that it doesn't come to this.
Exactly.
It's not your fault that you've been through so much traumatic things when it comes to law enforcement, and you've lost a friend who was very dear to you because of the hands of the law, and it shouldn't be, you know, your responsibility to know how to de-escalate it. It should be theirs.
Exactly. I feel like, you know, the law has nothing to be afraid of. You know, the plant's not harming anyone.
They're the ones with the weapons.
Exactly.
Therefore,
Yeah.
they need to know how to think rationally and act rationally instead of being on this fight or flight mode. They're the ones that have the training.
Exactly.
Paid for by the tax dollars of the citizens.
Yeah, and their job is to protect and serve the community.
And I don't feel like we were being protected. I feel like we were being exploited because of my stickers on my car and the fact that I still have Colorado tags. I feel like we were profiled and exploited, and there was no probable cause for them to search my car. But because they exerted and overstepped their boundaries,
They abuse their force. They
Yes,
abuse their
exactly.
power. You know, they only have they're limited as to how much they can do, especially in a traffic stop.
and it just like, you know, heroin doesn't smell.
No.
So how do you have probable cause to search somebody for heroin?
You know, or crack cocaine. You know, how are you going to be able to smell the difference between, you know, a hard narcotic and marijuana? You know, I just feel like, you know, really the plant isn't harming anyone. Everyone in America should be able to comfortably tell the police that they have marijuana in their vehicle and not be afraid of, you know, being pulled out of their car just for saying something or being, you know, or overreacting a little bit.
Which is what your experiences have been in Colorado and Washington, D.C., and two places where it is legal. We don't have that fear of telling the cops that we have marijuana and fear that we're going to be arrested and thrown in jail. We don't have to experience that anymore, and that's a huge weight lifted off our shoulders because it's making marijuana smokers, you know, daily consumers who believe in this plant and know it's healthy for them and are getting better. You know, it makes us feel like we're criminals.
Exactly. I mean, thankfully, you know, we've taken actions like Amendment 64 and Initiative 71 to, you know, combat this injustice and make there be free states for cannabis consumers. But there shouldn't be just free states and slave states like the 1800s. There should be, you know, free states for everyone. All 50 states should be free. And that's the issue we're trying to highlight here, is that unfortunately there are still free states and slave states in the United States, and there's racial injustice that goes on. And we're just here to, you know, bring awareness to that issue and make sure that everyone knows that we're trying to fix this as best we can.
So jump on the bandwagon, guys. Let's help fight to free the weed so people that look like him can stop going to jail for a plant.